welcome, revelers. This is Off the Rails, Right versus Left, the podcast that we do because we think the left is evil. I'm Rob B.
And I'm Brad Lee.
And I'm Brian G.
And we are Off the Rails, Right versus Left. Again, we're doing this show because we think everybody needs to know that the left is evil. Evil. All right, guys. Well, I do have Brian on the line, audio only, as he's usually traveling. So today, I just had to do this episode because it kind of demonstrates how completely wrong the liberals, the loving and accepting people, are completely wrong as always. But the Republicans are either half wrong or hypocrites. So the first thing that we have to cover. By the way, Brian, you got anything you want to say before we get into this?
No, there's a reason I'm not a Republican. I'm a conservative. Never been registered a Republican because they talk a good game half the time, and then it's like, okay, you don't follow through on anything you actually talk about.
True that. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about the Haitian people. Okay, so the disgusting thing is the entire liberal media and all these Democrats thinking they have to run to rescue the poor brown people. That's 100% racist at the outset, because they're assuming that these people can't defend themselves. And they didn't bother. Well, I can't say that they didn't bother doing the research. Okay. And here's the reason why I say that. 50% of the population of Haiti, they may have other religions as well, but 50% of Haiti are voodoo practitioners. Now, since they're doing absolutely no vetting to who they're letting in, there's no way to believe that 50% of the people coming into this country from Haiti are not voodoo practitioners. Okay? Now, the media should know this because every mainstream media has produced at least one segment about Haitian voodoo, both in Haiti and being practiced here. Like, the Haitian voodoo rituals is not a new thing to the U.S. Okay, now there's so many books about this. Like, I'm not going to go and try and read all of it, but if you want to. Now, I never say trust anything that Wikipedia says, but if you go to the Wikipedia page for Haitian voodoo, it does list almost 600 resources about Haitian voodoo.
Yeah, I was never a big fan of Wikipedia either, considering anybody can go on and change stuff. And yes, they're supposed to review the changes, but
these are well linked to like over 100 different books about Haitian voodoo. Okay.
I always say you can check the stuff on Wikipedia, but make sure you double and triple check it too.
Now, the first thing I will say is that Haitian voodoo is not black magic. Okay. It is a monotheistic religion where their supreme being, Iwa, you perform sacrifices for him, which is a thing that is a recurring theme in every religion in the world, including Christianity and Judaism. Okay. There was a reason why Jesus was said to be the sacrificial lamb, because you sacrifice lambs. Okay. So before anybody goes and tries to get all up in a huff saying that, the practice doesn't really happen, well, we're going to address that first.
Well, it did until about 200 years ago?
Well, no, I'm talking about the Haitian voodoo, because then they're going to say, it's racist. They don't actually still practice it. Well, yes, they do.
I was talking about Christian, Jewish.
So, warning people, you might not want to see this because it is kind of graphic, but at the same time, it's public interest because this is a practiced religion. Okay.
So warning! If you don't want to see it, turn your cameras off. Turn off your screen.
We had a sacrifice of a goat in the first one. This one's a cow. This one we got a duck and a baby goat. Okay. Here we got a couple baby goats. Here we have a full-grown goat. and here we have a couple chickens getting ready to be sacrificed. Okay. So the practice happens. Okay. Now, when you throw 20,000 people into a town of 58,000 people, 10,000 of them are going to be voodoo worshippers. Okay. And there is no supply for them to get animals to practice their rites there. Very minimum supply. Okay. So what are they going to do? They're going to try and find animals so they can practice their religion. Okay. Now, before any Republican or conservative tries to complain about this, do not get up in arms about protecting the First Amendment and ignore the free practice of religion. Okay. I don't agree with animal sacrifice, but guess what? My religion doesn't require it. Okay. The Supreme Court has repeatedly ruled that they can actually do this practice. Okay.
Mine doesn't require it either, just for the record.
Yeah, they're busy sipping the blood of Christ. They don't need the
wine,
blood of
my
animals.
friend. It's called wine.
They don't need any animals to practice their medieval rituals in the Catholic Church.
Yes, I know your feelings of the Catholic Church. It's total BS, but I
Hold
understand.
on. When did all of the traditions of the Catholic Church become?
Yes.
In the Middle Ages? Oh, so like I said, the medieval practices of the Catholic Church. That's not a knock. That's just a fact. Timeline. That's when
I know your feeling. I know your feelings.
So, anyways, so every religion has their arcane practices. This is the practice of voodoo. Okay, so to pretend that they're not doing it is ridiculously racist. The way the Democrats jump in and try and defend the poor, defenseless Haitians. It's more. It would be more apropos if they were to be honest about it and explain the Haitian rituals, because then maybe we can find farmers that can help supply the animals that they need for their religion.
Yeah. Stay away from the dogs and cats.
Now, so as far as stealing people's pets, that's a crime. So now we're talking about a crime issue. Okay. But then there's another crime going on here too. If they are actually stealing people's cats and dogs wandering around the street, there's not a city in this country where you're allowed to let your dog and cat wander around on the street. It's illegal. Now, that doesn't make it okay for them to be victim of a crime. It doesn't mean it's okay for people to steal them. But at the same time, you're not following the law and you're not keeping your pets inside where they're safe anyway. So,
I mean, we agree on that. I don't disagree with that. I just think if they had been brought in properly with immigration, where they wanted to immigrate, become part of the culture, like it's been since the U.S. was formed. You came over to immigrate and you became part of the American culture, that they would know dogs and cats are hands off. That's the one thing you don't touch in America. Dogs and cats.
So
people think of them as their kids. You don't touch that.
Okay, great. Well, then you're a horrible parent for letting your kids wander around the street in the middle of the night. I won't
disagree with that. I never let my dog. I mean, my cat was on a harness and a leash. He didn't go running around outside. Neither did my dog. So
right,
I'm not
and we experienced a similar thing here. We're in a very rural town. There's some migrants here, and like most of the cats in the neighborhood disappeared. Okay.
Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
Anyway, so our cat, ironically, while I was fixing the screen door so he couldn't get out,
I love that cat.
Snuck past me, and we never saw him again. So so we're going through a disappearing pet thing here too, and it's sad. My now officially fiance, she's not happy about it.
Congratulations! That's awesome.
Woo-woo! Yeah. So December 14th.
Wait to get down there and give her a big hug.
Yeah. So anyway, they don't have a right to take other people's animals. We do have hunting laws in this country. You can't just go and hunt the ducks and the geese in the park. But being that we know that they perform Haitian voodoo rituals, we need to be observant of that. Because if you are truly a freedom-loving American, this is not black magic, despite the
no, it's not
misconceptions around it. It's more about nature and the healing power of spirituality. Okay, which, I mean, my religion, I don't believe that, but that's what they believe. Okay, and our First Amendment guarantees them the right to practice this religion. So even if we wanted to ban it, we can. If these people wanted to raise cats and dogs for sacrifice, they can. That's the religion. They don't have a right to steal people's pets. They don't have a right to go into the park and kill the pets. But what are we doing to give them the ability to practice their religion? Well, nothing. We're not doing anything about it. And we're making it worse by trying to vilify them for practicing their religion. I think you're going through a bad zone there, B. You're coming through as a crackle-a-lot-of-puss.
Well, can you hear me, Andy? Can you hear me any better? Can you hear me any better? Are we here? Are we there?
I can hear you better now.
Just saying, it's one thing to come in and say, I'm going to raise my own animals to sacrifice. It's another thing to come into a culture like America and say, I'm going to raise cats to sacrifice cats, or dogs to sacrifice dogs. I know they're allowed to do it, but talk about making an entire society hate you with a passion.
Okay, but we're supposed to be the free society that respects people's religion. So we should not have hate over them practicing their religion.
I know.
Okay, and there is no hate.
Dogs,
I'm sorry. I love Diego, but he's just an animal.
And
okay?
I agree with you that I love my dog. I love my cat. To me, they were on the border of family, but they're not family. They're still my pet. If I had to choose between my kid or my dog, there's not even a question there. It's my kid.
Yeah, you're throwing the dog and driving the kid. I mean, that's it.
It's my
so
dog.
Anyway. So again, by having this reaction of claiming that it's racist to bring attention to what's going on, again, you're doing a disservice to the Haitian communities.
I love my dog. I would.
Yeah, you're doing a disservice to the Haitian community and the voodoo practitioners by vilifying it and acting like there's something wrong with it when there's not. And the understanding, they're eating the cats and dogs. Okay, well, if they sacrifice an animal, it would be sacrosanct to not eat the sacrifice. So they're actually showing the animals respect by eating them.
Yeah, at least they're not wasting the meat, just killing it like we did in the past with the buffalo, where you'd kill them, take the fur, and then leave all the meat to rot.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just disgusting.
Yep, it'd be carcasses left strewn across the prairies with no heads and no fur, and everything else was left.
Yeah.
So,
disgusting.
And then the fact that we did it in this country even more because we knew that it was a spiritual connection for the native tribes.
Yeah.
So that made it even worse. So anyway, flat out. I mean, there is racism going on with this whole debate, but it's not the Republicans. The Republicans just aren't addressing the real problem. Okay. And it does highlight it, but the talking point should be they're eating the dogs and cats because you brought a bunch of people with a different culture into this country. You didn't assimilate them, and you didn't give them a method of being able to practice their religion.
Yeah.
That's what really happened. Not that I'm saying that they should get more government money so they can buy animals to practice their religion. That's not what I'm saying at all. Okay? They shouldn't be here. They came... so it's debatable whether they came illegally. They came with temporary protected status that the president had no right to confer legally. So that's one judgment of the Supreme Court that I thought was wrong.
Yeah.
There's
a lot of judgments they've done that I think are wrong, but I'm not going to disobey them because that's, they're the law of the land. That's
but we should keep challenging them.
Unlike Democrats, I'm not going to sit there and go, I'm not going to follow that because it's wrong. I'm sorry. They passed it. It's
Democrats
and change it.
Democrats are very selective about what they're going to follow.
Yeah. Fight it and change it if you don't like it.
Yeah, they say that they believe in everybody's accountable under the law unless they want to do something illegal. That's how that works. So, anyway, so if people really want to help the situation, maybe there's some farmers out there that want to help work out getting them animals so they can practice their religion. Okay, but like the vitriol that there's something wrong with what Trump and Vance are saying, that they are eating the dogs and cats, that is actually the racist vitriol.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing wrong with them doing it. And you want to make it even more disgusting that they're, by saying there's something wrong with Donald Trump and JD Vance pointing it out, saying that that's racist is even more racist, because this comes from the practices of Adun from Africa. So we're talking about people with African roots practicing their African religion and vilifying it as if it's something wrong, and pointing out that it happens, there's something wrong with it.
That's
It does highlight
it.
Now, it does highlight the issue that you guys continue to bring in people that don't have anything in common with our culture. And not every culture is compatible, okay? Like, I've been all over the world. I stayed in Russia for a couple of years, okay? Russian culture is not really compatible with our culture.
Amen.
It's not. They think completely differently. So
But
I should see if I can get one of my Russian friends to come on the show and try and like explain the way Russians look at things, because it's completely different.
But I do think Russians have an easier time immigrating into the American culture than a lot of them, like a lot of the people from the Middle East, which don't want to immigrate into the American culture. They want to turn us into what they came from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because when they come here, they want to adapt to what's here. You know why? Because if you go to Russia, you adapt to their culture. You adapt to their way of life. You follow their laws. Exactly. You're never gonna catch a Russian immigrant complaining if you ask them for their documents, because they're gonna have them, because they know the law says you have to have them, and they're gonna show them. And guess what? When I was in Russia, I was asked like every other day for my documents.
Well, that's because
I didn't complain about
white man.
Yeah, and you know why it was only every other day? Because the days that I didn't get asked, I didn't have words come out of my mouth near a police officer. Like, even speaking Russian, like, I sound American. So, like, they'd hear me and be like, but documents.
You sound a lot more Russian than a lot of Americans, so, when you speak Russian. I mean, most Americans go over there and don't have any clue. I mean, you're not. I mean, anybody who speaks Russian would know that you're not Russian, but I mean, a lot of Americans go over there, they don't have a clue.
Yeah, exactly. Well, when I got there, I was studying the language, and it was actually kind of like interesting, because like, okay, I had constant migraines because I was like super focused trying to understand what people were saying. Okay. The language is so complicated. There's like 13 tenses for like every word, and each word can change the ending of every word in the sentence. So it's like insane to try and keep it up. I was horrible at the tenses. Luckily, once I was able to start speaking Russian, I was able to mostly communicate what I was trying to get across. But it's a difficult language. So it's very difficult. Like, it's amazing. And Russian sounds nothing like what you like hear on TV. It's actually very fluid and flowery language. It actually sounds closer to French. That harsher tone you hear in like movies. It's actually to me, it's actually closer to the Ukrainian language, which is a lot harsher sounding to me. So anyway, but it's like, I mean, it's just different. I went there and I lived life like I was one of them, because that's what you do when you go to another country. Okay, but the people that are coming here, they have no education. Like, they have none. They can't read. They can't write. They can't learn about the culture, and we're not attempting to teach them the culture.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we're expecting them to like follow our norms when they don't know what the norms are. And we're ignoring the fact that they have a religion of their own. They have a culture of their own. They're going to follow that religion, and they're going to follow that culture. So if we continue to vilify them, they'll never be able to integrate.
Yeah.
And I think they could. This episode isn't even about whether or not they should be. This episode is strictly about the fact that the First Amendment says that the Haitian voodoo practitioners have a right to practice their religion. Vilifying them for it is anti-American. Trying to act like they need protection because they're practicing their religion, which is what the Democrats are doing, is racist because you're acting like they're incapable children because they don't look like you.
Yeah.
It's horrible. So
'Cause they don't look like you. They don't think like you.
exactly. So again, Republicans need to take another tact on this. Don't vilify them for eating cats and dogs. Point out that they're eating cats and dogs, but it's part of their religious practice, and they're resorting to the cats and dogs because, as usual with everything the government does, they don't get the job right. They got it wrong, as always.
As always.
So, you got anything to add?
No. One thing I'll say though is you had mentioned the killing of the geese and the ducks in the park, and that's illegal. And I mentioned unless you have a permit. I know permits does not allow you to kill ducks and geese in the park. I mean, in city parks. I just wanted to say that. I understand that.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, we have
Yeah.
laws around hunting, and it has to either be on your private property or it has to be in a designated national wildlife area where you're allowed to hunt. Not a refuge, but a wildlife area where you're allowed to hunt, generally national forest or state forest.
Yeah.
But
Like
parks are 100% illegal to hunt in, even if you have a hunting license.
Well, I was gonna say, I know back home in Alaska, Anchorage, we'd get duck permits because duck hunting season, and we would go down to the flats and kill ducks, which was just outside of the Earthquake Park. We just got out of Earthquake Park. You weren't allowed to kill the ducks in the park, but you could go just outside the park with the permit and hunt all the ducks you want, up to a certain number.
So Democrats, stop being racist and vilifying these people. Republicans, get off your asses. While they're here, there's a business opportunity. I'm sure we have some conservative farmer out there that believes in the First Amendment right for everybody to practice their religion. They can help these people out with getting the animals. And people of Springfield, keep your pets controlled. That is the law. And that's all we got to say about it here. Y'all have a great day. But I will say, let's see here. Where's that? Don't forget, we do have the sponsorship with W Energy Drinks. If you're feeling low and down, go over to www.w.com, enter the promo code RTWRVL, and you get a 20% discount, and it helps us out with running this channel. Y'all have a great... What's that?
I'm gonna go on and order some of that stuff this week.
Nice. So I actually placed the order. They had the sponsorship mugs, so I ordered one of those, so I'll be able to Dobby Energy right on the screen.
Very cool.
All right, guys, you have a great day. Keep safe. And remember, it's racist to act like it's a bad thing to eat dogs and cats.
Peace, brother.